this is the time of year where we just roll right into, I can kind of reflect back on the year, and this is my Thanksgiving show. And we kind of go through and look back, and it comes down to like, what are you thankful for? And I think that's super important. We like to do some give backs to our past clients this week and spend some time thanking them for their business and what they've done. So I think the number one thing before I talk about real estate, and I'm going to quite a bit, but the number one thing before I even roll into that real estate question is I think I just have to say overall is health and family. Like, I couldn't even write the rest of the deal. So I know a lot of people have a lot of problems out there, and it doesn't take much to take you off your game in that situation. And we even had, for the first time earlier this year, my wife had a massive knee injury. That's what I get for skiing too much. But it was like ACL, MCL, meniscus, and she was down and then had to have surgery. And then, so you have to rehab before surgery and then rehab again. So that just it was a good reminder. Like, looking back, I was like, man, we're all healthy again, getting around. And it can really kind of kick your butt in those situations. And so very number one, I just put health and family was the first thing that I've wrote down. I've got 2 thriving adult children who are also healthy. So I'm very fortunate. And I think that's just what, as we go into the holiday season, that's really where that focus goes for me. When I start to look at real estate and the market in 2025, the first thing that I wrote down today was, especially at Kenmore Team, like, our team are super hard workers, and I'm super thankful for that. So as we were finishing off this week, we are like 3 transactions from hitting our entire year goal.
Wow.
And we still have another month and a week left in that situation. And we have, 40 more pendings. And so we're going to end up well above goal. And I think that this just really speaks volume to the quality of the team members, because it would be impossible to hit goals like that without a large number of very talented individuals working in the background and with clients and on multiple build projects and new construction. So that's huge. And the individuals there are helping people, and they deeply care about what they're doing in the community. We just had a deal, 2 days ago, as I was prepping for the show, where it was basically somebody, they didn't have the money to make the final push on a couple extra charges that showed up on their title report. And it was just one of those deals where my agent came to me and said, hey, I'm going to make an adjustment in commission, and I'm just going to put this deal through because I don't want this lingering for the seller in the holidays. And then she said to me, it was so cool. She goes, and the agent from the other company is gonna split it with me as well, because they want to help their buyer get in before Thanksgiving so that they can have Thanksgiving in their new house. And I was just blown away, that's the spirit we're supposed to be recognizing this time of year. It was a difficult transaction. I know they spent hours and hours beyond on it. But as I was prepping for the show, I'm like, man, this just really displays the type of hard work that people at the team put in to help the Tri-Cities be a better place, to help their customers get into homes. So that was a huge win and really fun to see this week. And I probably had 5 other stories that would recount that as well. When I started to really drill down into the real estate market, the first thing that came to mind was, I wrote down, I am thankful for interest rate relief. Headed into this year, the end of last year, we saw rates that were at 7.5, and, they've come all the way down now to about 6, due to market conditions, a couple Fed cuts. And I tell you what, there's a lot of people that have a lot of thoughts about that, and they're like, oh, you don't know what high rates are and stuff. Yeah, I get it, but the number of transactions and the speed of what's going on in the market were greatly affected by those high rates. And so when they got down into that 6 range, I mean, I was reading stuff that, there was a couple studies that came out this week looking at October stats. And it was Redfin put out a study that said October buyer activity was it was the highest buyer activity of all of 25 that month. And we saw the same thing at the Kenmore Team as well. And so I'm very thankful for that. On top of that, people talk a lot about like affordable housing, and a lot of the multifamily projects and townhome projects that would be more in the affordable range, a lot of those developers had to put plans for that housing on hold because of the interest rate for the project didn't make the project feasible anymore for the rent. So, it's this vicious cycle of that high rate, and then we get less homes on the market, so we have less inventory in the affordable zone. So overall, I got to say, I'm just very, very thankful for interest rate relief. Part of that has come in combination with the next item that I'm thankful for in that real estate realm for 2025. Hand in hand with that interest rate relief was inventory. And inventory, by that I mean having homes to show people. I know that sounds weird because that's what we do, but in the past, as soon as 2 years ago, we had less than 500 homes on the market, and that's just not enough for a healthy real estate market on the buy side of the transaction. Yes, it was amazing for some massive equity gains for sellers, but it was not a balanced market at all. And it made some buyers have to make very hard decisions very quickly without having time to think over a property or having the night to sleep on it to be sure that's what they were getting. And then as bad as to like having to waive inspections to get a house. And so I just feel like that extra inventory gives our buyers more options, time to make better decisions, and it's just not such a lopsided market. So that's one of those reasons we've been able to see the increased buyer activity, that it is becoming more affordable as the rates come down. And so having that inventory was a big, big deal, and I'm very, very thankful for that for sure. The third thing that I had on my list was clients and customers in Tri-Cities. I am very, very thankful for our client and our customer base. We have some of the best customers around. They become clients for life. They come back to us for multiple transactions. And honestly, they're just like really fun to hang out with. I mean, that is like the benefit of our job. Like sometimes, you become so close with your clients during that transaction process. Like sometimes even, like the week after, like you've been communicating 2 or 3 times a day. Exactly like what's going on with their kids and what appointments they have and when they can sign and move. And I mean, for that 2-month period, that 60-day period, I mean, you're like an integral part of the whole family. And then they just drop you like a bad habit at closing, McKay. And then they're done with you, most all of them we stay in touch with, and then, and they'll call us and ask questions. And that's one of the reasons we like to have our Thanksgiving pie events and community give back events. And so that is just really, really awesome for us. And then we get to see those people. Plus we're helping build the community. We helped a number of people in the last couple of weeks that are moving from out of town, and they are transferring here to start new jobs January 1. And so, we get to like one household at a time get to help build the community. And so we really, really appreciate our past customers, our current customers, all of the referrals and the trust that you place in us for that. And then the last item that I had down on our list here is just our radio show listeners to this real estate show. I can't thank you guys enough. I hear weekly from the listeners and people that we run into in the community how much you listen and you'll comment on our topics and share our videos. And that base has just really grown year after year after year. And as we continue to grow our transaction numbers, like right now, we have a number of our listings that came from referrals from radio listeners, from our podcast listeners, from our YouTube shorts. So everybody that's in that audience, I am super, super thankful for, because, if you would have asked me 5-6 years ago, I would have had no idea what that ballooned into and became. And so I am very, very thankful for that. At all times. So we really appreciate you guys. If anybody out there needs anything in that real estate realm or help with anything, please let us know. Just next week, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Enjoy that time with your family and your friends, and just eat too much. And then for those of you guys that are going, we'll see you tomorrow night out at Zach Top. So I'm excited. Stop by our open houses and check out what we have going on there, and a chance to win those tickets for tomorrow night. Yes. And we'll be right back here next weekend.